Hello and welcome to Earth Echoes. My name is Amber Fields and I'm doing this recording at the Courthouse Plaza in the center of Prescott, Arizona. It's a very magical place. Lots of special things happen here and people come together. And I would like to do another reading here this morning titled The Universe's Plan versus Ours. The End of Expectation and the Birth of Trust by Jason Gray. We live in a paradox. On one hand, we are told to set goals, make plans, visualize outcomes. On the other, life continually reminds us that it does not bow to our projections. What unfolds rarely matches the map we drew for it, and yet, again and again, we script, we demand, we expect. This cycle is the very root of disappointment. It is also the hidden core of control, our refusal to accept that we are not the architects of the great unfolding, but participants in it. The lie of control. Control is the most seductive lie we have inherited. It whispers, if you plan precisely enough, you can bend reality to your will. But reality does not bend. It flows. It is an ocean, not a wall. You cannot push it. You can only drown or learn to float. Every expectation is a small rebellion against this truth. Every expectation is an attempt to claim mastery over what was never ours. We disguise our control issues as standards, dreams, or reasonable hopes. Yet beneath them is the same root, the refusal to trust the unknown. When we cling to expectations, we are not living, we are bargaining. The tyranny of expectation. Expectation is a contract we write with the universe without its consent. We say, if I love purely, I expect to be loved back in the same way. If I work hard, I expect success to unfold by a certain date. If I pray, I expect my prayers to be answered in my chosen form. And when life responds differently, we cry betrayal. But it is not life that betrayed us. It is the illusion of our contract that collapsed. Disappointment is not a punishment from reality. It is the breaking of a false agreement we imposed upon it. The universe's plan, non-linear and unseen. Our plans are small, straight-line sketches. They are drawn from what we know, what we fear, what we desire. The universe's plan is vast, multidimensional, fractal. It sees what we cannot. What we call a failure may be the exact dislodging required to move us into alignment. What we call loss may be the precise clearing that makes space for a greater gain. We see the closed door. The universe sees the entire hall of doors behind it. We mourn the ending. The universe whispers, this is the seed of beginning. We cling to scarcity. If not this, then nothing. The universe answers with abundance. If not this, then something more. Expect nothing, receive everything. To expect nothing is not despair. It is freedom. It is not passivity. It is trust. When you release the stranglehold of expectation, you stop narrowing life into a tunnel. You allow it to arrive as it is. And what arrives, though not always what you wanted, is always what you needed. When you expect nothing, every kindness is magnified. Every sunrise becomes a miracle. Every disappointment is dissolved before it has form. Expectation is a clenched fist. Expecting nothing is an open hand, and only the open hand can receive. Disappointment as a teacher. Disappointment is not your enemy, it is your teacher. It reveals the places where you attempted to control the uncontrollable. It shows you the gap between reality and projection. Each disappointment is a mirror saying, you trusted your plan more than the plan. Each broken expectation is an invitation. Stop scripting life. Start experiencing it. Disappointment will keep visiting until we learn the lesson. We are not here to master reality, but to meet it. The collapse of control. Control is born of fear. Fear that if we do not hold the wheel tightly, life will crash. But life is not a car to be driven. It is a river to be entered. The more we demand control, the more rigid and brittle we become, and brittle things break. The universe does not ask us to harden. It asks us to soften, to become fluid, to dissolve the belief that we can plan our way into safety. Safety does not come from control. It comes from surrender. Living beyond expectation. To live beyond expectation is to live awake. It is to meet the present moment without conditions. It is to say, I will show up fully, but I will not demand outcomes. I will love fully, but I will not script the response. I will work with devotion, but I will release the results. This is not weakness. This is the highest strength, the courage to trust life more than the mind's script. The final surrender. The universe does not need your plan. It does not need your control. It only asks for your presence. Presence is the opposite of expectation. Expectation pulls you into a future that may never arrive. Presence roots you in the only moment that is ever real. When you stop expecting, you start living. When you stop controlling, you start receiving. When you surrender, you find that life has never once failed you. It has only ever invited you into what was real. When you have expectations, expect disappointments. When you release expectations, expect miracles, because life is not here to fulfill your plan. Life is here to reveal itself. And the moment you stop demanding, the moment you open your hands, you will see the universe has always been carrying you. Jason Gray. That's something I've struggled with a lot in my life, is release of control and expectations. And I think it reached a height during COVID because my nervous system was already ramped up from a number of things. And then having a newborn child during COVID and feeling very alone and not having a lot of resources, or being able to meet with people in public and share that experience with other new mothers, my nervous system got more ramped up, and, also because of having a new baby and all the demands of a new baby. And then I lost my sister-in-law and brother-in-law to suicide, and I lost even more trust in the universe. And it's taken a few years since then, but I ultimately I broke down, and I had to reach a very low place where life was so difficult, and I didn't want to be alive. I wasn't going to take my life, but I didn't want to live day to day because it was just so hard and miserable. I was in a lot of pain from having a C-section and a subsequent injury. So I reached a very low place, and I realized that something needed to change, and just from reaching that super low place, it does something to you, where I think you do release expectations because you just don't have any at that point when you're in such despair. And I think I was, focusing on so much of the negative in life at that time because there was so much negative. There was a lot of negative things that happened with COVID, and negative experiences that I had and the whole world had. And at one point, my daughter said to me one day when I was taking her to school, she said, "Mom, every time we come to town, I can see a huge, big black hole in your back, and there are monsters eating out of it." And that really reminded me of stuff that I've learned about archons through David Icke, which are entities that we can't see that feed on negative energy, because when we are sad and angry, things like that, we release light, and supposedly there may or may not be entities that feed on that light. And I think that has a lot to do with expectations and disappointment when we're in those states of fear and despair. And that was a pretty big turning point for me. I needed to decide that despite all of the pain and suffering that I had been going through during that time, bit by bit I was able to see the beauty in life and decide that I wanted to focus on that, because I know, I've known for a long time that what you focus on grows. And so it was a matter of having that control of my consciousness and my thoughts and moving in a different direction. And it's been such a blessing that I have been able to do that. And as I've gone through this process, I've learned that the only thing I can trust is the universe and its plan for me, because any plans that I have are just small-minded, and I can't see so much. And so I need to release those expectations and those plans and give myself to that flowing river that is life. So I hope that you liked that reading as much as I did, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you.